Patients and their family members are influenced by the appearance of the practice. Though it is still very early in the day, the reception area is very messy. Notice the empty coffee cups, the magazines in disarray, unauthorized religious or commercial materials, untended plants, messy handwritten notices, jarring signs, loud music, and cold patients. It is important that the bathrooms remain clean and well-stocked throughout the office hours, as well as to ensure that work and treatment areas are orderly and clean. Confidential discussions are held in private locations in the office, and the dress and appearance of physicians and staff are always professional and well-groomed.
What a rainstorm! Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's a little chilly in here. Are you cold?
It's cold.
Okay, I'll fix that.
The most efficient way to keep the practice looking neat and orderly is to assign a staff person to do a quick straighten-up sweep through the practice every 2 hours. In only a few minutes, the staff member could empty trash, clean any spills, straighten magazines, remove unauthorized literature, check the temperature, adjust volume of music, check the bathrooms, and walk through the clinical areas to ensure they are clean. Excuse me, Mrs. Cooper, can you describe how you feel about Gloria's interaction with you just now?
Well, Preston, to be honest with you, it has not gone very well, I don't think. She seemed in such a hurry. I had trouble keeping up with her in the waiting room. She was so far ahead of me and practically slammed the door in my face. And I tried to answer all her questions. Again, she was in a hurry. I have no idea who she was. I guess she was a nurse. She didn't give me her name. And frankly, she just appeared to be too busy to be interested in me.
What do patients want? I believe more than anything else that patients want to be focused on, to have their needs acknowledged by the physicians and staff of the practice. Unfortunately, Gloria did not convey that she was focused on Mrs. Cooper. She appeared as if she were going through the motions. Gloria also failed to honor Mrs. Cooper's confidentiality when she called the patient to the exam area using a loud voice. Further, Gloria did not introduce herself or position to Mrs. Cooper. She also turned and left the patient to follow her as she hurried to the exam room. Further, she appeared disorganized and rushed. Gloria lost opportunities to make a positive impression on her patient. Let's observe Carol's behavior as she summons the next patient. Could you please share with me how you felt about your time with Carol?
Sure, Preston. Even though this was the first time I met her, she's new here, I felt like she's a real nice person. She introduced herself to me and even knew my granddaughter's name.
Carol is a new member of the staff. She requested the receptionist help her become acquainted with the patients by writing a brief description of patients on a yellow Post-it note. And in the case of Mr. Franklin, the receptionist added the name of his granddaughter that accompanied him to the practice.
Excuse me.
Carol glanced at the chart and Post-it note, and rather than call the patient's name in a loud voice, she approached the patient and introduced herself and her position. She also greeted Emily as well. Carol did not order the patient to follow her to the exam room, but asked if the patient was ready to go in for the exam. Carol quickly saw that Mr. Franklin was having difficulty and immediately offered assistance. Once she got the patient comfortable in the exam room, Carol's actions helped the patient feel secure. She informed Mr. Franklin what to expect during the visit. She also informed Mr. Franklin that she would return after the doctor's exam to answer any questions concerning instructions or prescriptions. Carol clearly projected that she was centered and focused on her patient by conducting the interview while sitting down on the same level as Mr. Franklin. Throughout the interview, she maintained eye contact. Her tone of voice was calm and interested. She nodded her head as she listened to Mr. Franklin's responses. Carol used many open-ended questions to encourage Mr. Franklin to feel like he was contributing to the process. Finally, Carol repeatedly used Mr. Franklin's name, which not only personalized the interaction, but kept Mr. Franklin focused during the interview as well.